guys spent the apocalypse drought edition. Yes, that's right. We've had a horrible drought and heat wave, but today it is overcast.
Yes.
And so if she'll just shine without getting the guys, she'll just shine back. I'm paying to have a roof put on. So I'm going to explain that a little bit while I have Lynn just basically film what I'm doing. So, some 20 years ago, they raised our insurance premium to $3,000 a year, which was $2,000 higher than it had been for house insurance. It was more than we could afford, but we probably would have pinched and saved and done it anyway. But two things had happened. We had recently had to have some hail damage fixed. They didn't give us enough money to do a third of the roof. So I wound up patching the part that wasn't so damaged, and then wound up working with another guy who came and helped me, and we shingled the back part of the house that had been destroyed by the hail ourselves.
Right.
The insurance didn't even pay for all the shingles. So we were paying for insurance. When you actually go to use it, sometimes we decided, we talked about it and decided we would be money ahead to just take what we were already paying and put it back.
Right.
For the eventuality of horrible things happening that would need to be fixed. And we knew eventually we were going to have to put a new roof on. And we knew we wanted to put a steel roof on for a lot of reasons. It's going to be easier to heat, easier to cold, more storm, all that shit. Bam, 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 bam. It took us 20 years to save enough money, and I kept putting it off. This is the only thing I'm going to tell you. Okay, so my general rule is put off a major fix as long as possible, because when you make the fix, it's that much longer that fix is going to last because you made the other one, you limped it along. So I've been crawling up there, fixing it, tarring it, putting new shingles on for years. Okay, just trying to limp it through. It kind of bit me on the ass because there's no more limping it through. As you can see, these shingles have degraded to practically nothing. So limping it through, now the price of everything is quadrupled.
Right.
And we're having to pay a lot more for the roof than we would have had to pay
10 years ago.
No, we should have done it 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago even, it would not have been as expensive as it is going to be now.
Yeah.
But I have a friend that's doing it. So, okay, so is it a good idea to have a friend do something like that? Yes. I know I can trust Tony to do a good job.
And he's a professional.
And he's a professional. This is what he does for a living.
Right.
This is his crew. I know I can trust him. I know he's not going to shaft me. And I know because we're friends, he's going to get me the best deal. And he did. So I wound up, he got me just exactly the metal I wanted. And he did it and got it for saved us about $5,000.
Right.
Because of where he got it and how much he got and all of that. So, at any rate, so that's first off. Okay, what am I doing right now? So, one of the ways I cut costs on this build is that I told Tony, don't worry about taking the trash off, I'll take care of all that. I had him leave on the layer of shingles that's on there, because it's going under the steel, and it's just that much more insulation and that much more preventative. If the tin leaks, there's another roof under it.
Right.
But one of the things he's doing,
steel,
that I really wanted is he's putting in a ridgeline vent. In all this hot weather, we could have used that ridgeline vent.
No kidding.
But he's putting in a ridgeline vent. In order to do that, he had to take all the shingles off so that the air comes up from the thing and vents out this airline, this ridge cap vent. Okay, so immediately I wound up with these huge piles of shingles that I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with those?
Right.
So I came up with half a dozen ideas. One of them was to take them all out and put them in the road where we need to have, because I've done that before.
Where we need to have
okay,
holes
people,
filled.
listen. Are you listening? You live on a country road, or you have a driveway that's got huge holes in it. People are always throwing this shit away. This is nothing but filling landfills and making a freaking mess, right?
Right.
But you can take this, pop all the nails out of it, put it down. What is it? It's an asphalt road.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one thing. But I can't do that because the church also uses our road where it leaks and where it ruts out. And one of the reasons it ruts out is because they will not fix the plumbing correctly. The city doesn't. And they break the water line.
Yeah.
Sometimes 2-3 times a year because they've never fixed it correctly. Okay, so that was a no-go. And then I'm like, well, is there any place in the pasture that I need to fill? Because I've used them for gravel in the past on, I take and I put down French drain, and then instead of gravel, I just used the asphalt shingles around them.
Right, right.
And made, and you can't even tell where they're at the pasture now. But, okay, so the big thing about making do and surviving is to be able to look at things and see them as something else. And I realized I'm eventually going to pour. This is another one of my turrets for my castle.
Right.
It's not finished.
No.
Someday it will be finished.
Yes.
And hopefully you guys will watch me do that.
Yep.
But
It'll be number 3.
It'll be the third one. Okay, so I'm going to pour a floor in here. But it dawned on me that I might not even have to pour a floor. But at the very least, I could pour a lot less cement by using these asphalt shingles and laying them down. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking the joints and I'm layering them to make a floor in here. What's going to happen? Well, we get 110 weather for the next week.
Yeah.
That's going to all bake.
Yeah.
Every place the tar is even the least bit still on the shingle, it's going to adhere and it's going to come together. So
It's going to keep weeds down for one thing.
it's going to keep the weeds out of here until I can finish it. Once I finish it, there wouldn't be a weed problem anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's going to keep the weeds out of here for right now, which is a bonus. It gets rid of this shit.
Yeah.
And whatever I do in here, it's going to save me money.
Yep.
Because
That's a bag or two of concrete right there.
yeah, well, it's because I wanted to build it up quite a bit. Well, I don't have to. Structurally, I don't need that floor. This is already on foundation. This
Right.
is where all the weight is.
Right,
When
right.
I put the roof on this one's going to actually have a roof, which is why it's taken me so long to do. This one's going to have a roof. When I put the roof on, the weight of it will be on the outside walls, not that floor.
Right.
The floor is just for show. Well, guess what? This is basically yet another thing for the kids to play in.
Right.
It doesn't have to be 100% perfect.
Right.
So I could throw these down in here, and then I could do several things. I could use old crappy wood and sling it on top of there, or I could pour cement on top of it, or I could just leave the asphalt shingle.
Yep.
And that's the thing. If you were broke and you were trying to put together a shelter, you had some pallets, and you found somebody throwing away a bunch of shingles, most of these would not be good for a roof. But guess what? Okay, so look. Most of these would not be good for a roof.
But some
They
of them,
wouldn't. But if you cut them here and watch where the holes are and overlapped them like shingles,
yes, like shakes or shingles,
like
yes.
shakes,
Uh-huh.
you could get a roof out of them. Especially if you had a lot of them to pick through.
Or a very
and you're
small
like,
surface
"Wait,
to roof.
that's way too much work." Well, then you're not broke enough.
Right, exactly.
You're not broke
Or
enough.
desperate enough for a shelter.
Or desperate enough for a floor or anything else. I've actually used these for walls too,
Oh, yeah.
as siding.
Yeah.
Put them up on as siding or shingles. You just cut them and put them up like shakes, because you don't even have to worry about those, whether or not they shed water.
Yeah, because it's going down.
They're on the
Yeah,
wall.
they're on the wall.
Anything's going to shed water on the wall. as long as they overlap.
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, so that's what I'm doing. I'm getting rid of what would be...
A huge mess.
Okay, do you know what it would cost to take these shingles to the freaking dump right now?
Yeah.
And it's
insane.
110. Do I really want to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
But not only that, then they're in the dump.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the dump, they're rotting, they're doing no good. They're filling the dump up.
Yeah.
Or I can do this.
This is awesome.
And it looks like a huge amount until you start laying them out, and then you'll notice it's like, you know, it's not as thick as you think it would be if you looked at the trailer loads were all the way up.
Yeah, I
And
know
then
the
as you
trail.
start
Yeah,
laying them out-
yeah.
Yeah. But at any rate, but that's just the kind of shit you can do. You can either have nothing, you know. That's the thing. What gets me is the number of people, it's not the number of rich people that just make huge amounts of waste. That's bad enough.
Mm-hmm.
The bigger thing is, what the hell are poor people doing?
Making.
Well, people that are broke, and then they're living in big piles of garbage. Because you know how hard it is to pick up your garbage, people? It's not.
No.
You don't make the mess, you don't have to clean it up. If you never throw your goddamn garbage on the ground, you don't have to clean it up.
Exactly.
If you clean it up a mess when you make it, it never gets bad. And then you're not living in a pig trough. Okay, now I'll show you what I'm doing here too. Okay, so I'm taking these and I'm peeling. You can see this is the ridge cap.
Right.
Peeling them up like that. Here's another thing. Okay, I'm a broke-ass motherfucker. Do you know what happens to tax? Roofing tax? Nothing.
Nothing.
Those are probably had the shingles. The last time that roof was shingled was probably, we've been together 30 years?
Yeah.
28 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
And they're fine.
The galvanization is still on them. They're still straight. Okay, so look here. I'm
Yeah.
broke. I need a roof.
Yeah.
I just need something, or I need to fix my roof.
Right. You need to make a patch.
I have to fucking patch my roof.
Uh-huh.
Go and get fucking shingles if somebody's throwing away. Pull
Yeah.
the freaking nails out. You got nail. You got shingles.
Yeah.
You're going to say, oh, no, that's crappy. I ain't doing that. Well, then it's nice. It must be nice to be richer than I am. Good for you. Yay, you don't need any help. You don't need to. And you don't have to worry about the environment. Fuck the environment. Throw this in a
Exactly.
landfill. Throw this crap in a landfill. At any rate, okay, so that's your lesson for today. Thanks for tuning in.